Hey guys, it's Dan, your host, your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video for today. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another video for the final season of The Walking Dead. It is now time to look back and reflect on all 24 episodes and give our ranking for the final season. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Walking Dead. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another video for the final season of The Walking Dead. This one is our first reflection video after the end of The Walking Dead series. We are going to look back on the final season of The Walking Dead, all 24 episodes, and discuss it and rank the season overall. What did we think of season 11? And fully discuss it. So, of course, I'll make sure to let you all know this contains spoilers for the final season, so if you have not watched all 24 episodes of the final season of Walking Dead, now is your time to leave this video. So, The Walking Dead is over, and we're going to be doing a lot of videos. We're going to be doing a series looking back review later on this week, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But in terms of the final season, the 24 episodes, the 3 parts, what did we think of the final season of The Walking Dead? Was it as epic as they told us? Was it as epic as AMC was advertising it beforehand? Now, here is my opinion. I think this was a mostly epic final season. I think 11A was mostly epic. Part 2 was pretty good. And 11C was incredible, in my opinion. Was incredible. So, with that being said, let's go through each episode. Let's kind of give our thoughts, and then I'll kind of go through, more thoughts of the season afterwards. So, we get started, right? Season 11, Episode 1, Akron Part 1. Really amazing premiere. I loved it. I thought it was so incredible. The Walker fights, the train yard, the tunnel, whatever, and the Negan and Maggie banter was so incredible. And we also got our first look at Commonwealth too, which I thought was really, really good. So that was an incredible premiere. Episode 2 was even better. That episode was even more incredible than Episode 1 already was. Fantastic stuff. I love the train fight. I love the gore and everything they were doing in there with the train or whatever. That was so incredible. And I loved the Reaper ambush. That was so friggin' awesome. And I loved the Commonwealth side of things as well, too. You know, Eugene and them getting accepted and getting into Mercer's character a lot more. That episode was absolutely amazing as well. Episode 3. Now, this is one of my favorite episodes of the entire season. Call me nuts. I love the vibe of our characters being hunted. I love it. I love the intro sequence. It makes you completely on the edge of your seat right away. And it was so incredible. I mean, people are literally dying all through this episode. It was insane. And the action did not stop. And even, back home during the storyline at Alexandria, I really like seeing our characters struggling to get food, right? It really reminds you of the earlier seasons. Them going out there, struggling to find food, struggling to survive, being hunted in the forest. I mean, the essence of what The Walking Dead is leading that episode, and I love it so much. Episode 4. Now, this one, Rendition, this one was okay for me. This was just an alright episode. I like the return of Leah. I like the introduction to the Reapers. I like basically all of that. I think Daryl leads the episode very well. The only issue I have with the episode is Pope and how easy he accepts Daryl into the group. I found that to be very convenient for the story, and I think Pope, being an angry leader the way he was, it just doesn't really make too much sense to me that he deeply is, pissed off and, is angry, as he states, right? And he's like, he make them feel our wrath and stuff. And he's so angry about his people dying around him, yet he's so eager to kill one of his guys and throw him in the fire, right? In the fire, in the fire, right? We are born from the fire, right? So, the episode's fine. I think Pope is a kind of a dumb character, to be honest. Episode 5. This one was pretty good. We got to see the Commonwealth introduction. We got to see Lance, which I thought was really cool. And his video interview at the beginning was actually pretty freaking awesome. And, we saw Negan and them on the road. Negan and Maggie are still having conflicts of what to do, whether to bring the food back or to keep going and finish this mission, right? Which is realistic, right? They would realistically fight about something like that, so I enjoy that. And the only complaint I have with the episode, because I do have one, I think the Whispers return was kind of forced, to be honest. I do like the Whispers as a group, but I honestly think that they were forcing them back in here because they don't have an impact on the story, right? And we all know full well our group would have found Connie either way. So I do like the focus on Eren, and I like seeing the struggle for our group. All that stuff is good. But bringing the Whispers back was a bit weird. So this episode, it was good, but I had my minor issues with that one. Episode 6 was incredible. Episode 6 was out of this world. You had an amazing episode as you see the return of Connie. You get to see this creepy, like Halloween haunted house type episode, which I thought was so incredible to see. And that was easily one of my favorite episodes of part 1. That was an incredible, incredible episode. It really brought the scariness back in The Walking Dead. Episode 7, this one was pretty good as well too. We got to see like the fights with the Reapers getting ready to, attack Meridian and stuff like that. And you had Maggie and Negan kind of training as Whisperers getting ready to go in there. And I really like the talk that Negan and Maggie had in that episode too, right? So I would have killed every last one of you. I think they really handled that well. And we did see a really cool introduction as well too for Sebastian. I thought that was really good too. The only flaw I have with this episode is I think the clearing buildings arc and like clearing the buildings was a little bit of a fluff to me. It was a little bit of like, okay, let's delay the governor until part 2, right? Where I feel like she actually would have had a great introduction in episode 7, to be honest. I think it would have been cool to see them clearing buildings and seeing them, get in trouble, and then they have to go to the governor and meet her for the first time, and you like cliffhanger it there. I think that would have been amazing. But unfortunately, they kind of were dragging stuff out. They were kind of dragging all this out, and that part of things I'm not too pleased with, but it was a very good build-up episode still for the mid-season finale. It was definitely very well done. And then episode 8, man, this was a really exciting episode. We got to see the Storm back at Alexandria. Rosita was an absolute badass, and you also had the attack in on Meridian, and you had Maggie, who was amazing. You had Gabriel that was on the top of his game, and you had Daryl killing that guy. I mean, there was so much in this episode. It was so good. And the only thing that I don't like about the episode is, once again, Pope. I just think Pope is such a nuisance. He's such a terrible villain, and I was really happy when he died in this episode. But minus Pope, I really enjoyed the episode. It was a really, really exciting episode. So, yeah, Part A, I thought was basically flawless to me at least, right? The only thing I don't like is Pope. I think Pope was a bad villain, and I think that the Whisper return, like, it wasn't awful, but, like, you probably didn't need to do that. Aside from that, I think this was an incredible first half of a season. So, there you go. Really, to me, Pope is the only big glaring flaw. Now, part 2. Now, okay. So, we have No Other Way, which in my opinion is one of the best episodes in this final season. I love the episode. I think it was absolutely incredible, and I think the way that they did it was really good. I mean, the action was there. Maggie was great. You got the Call Me Gabriel line. You've got the Ding Ding line from Negan. The fight with Carver. I mean, it was so intense. So intense. And I thought it was an incredible episode. One of my personal favorites from the final season. Episode 10. This one's a good one too. You get a bit of a slower episode, which I think is needed after episode 9. You get, the Commonwealth, and you get to see what they're all about and stuff like that. The only thing I'm not a big fan of in this episode, personally, is Carol and the wine. That was a bit whatever to me. It just kind of drags a little bit. And there were some draggy parts in the episode. Like, episode 10, like, it's an alright episode. You know what I mean? It's an alright one. It's there. It's pretty good. It's a slow introduction episode. It's not bad, but it's, it's a little less eventful compared to some of the other episodes. Episode 11... We have reached an episode, guys, in this video where I can actually say for the first time in the final season, I did not like it. I might even go ahead and say I hated it, to be honest. This episode, Rogue Element, was so stupid. I mean, you got Eugene and his friggin' girlfriend. You find out that that's actually not her. It's a spy from Lance, and her name is Shira. And Max was the real one, and apparently she told Eugene that her name was Stephanie, but she was lying because her name is Max now, so it's like a double twist, and it's like, now Eugene maybe wants to get with Max because, like, it was actually her, and like it's just, oh my god, it was so stupid. And in addition to Mr. Puss Bucket over here, Mother Puss Bucket can't even say the real fucking word. So I don't know. Episode 11, guys, I'm not gonna lie to your faces. I think episode 11 was a piece of shit, to be honest. Episode 12, this was okay. You know, again, another just alright episode in the Commonwealth. This one, I mean, it's just Eugene, man. Like, and he covered so much of this episode. It was just, I don't care about him and Max in this episode. I really don't. And the only thing I did like from the episode is Hornsby. I thought he was very intriguing. But, you know, you got Pamela that's, like, visiting the communities. It's okay at best, you know? But I just hate the fact that they acknowledge all these leaders like Deanna and Georgie and all these people that bring them together. And I'm like, you guys are forgetting, like, the most important one. Like, where the fuck is Rick? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. I think they really, that episode was definitely very flawed on my end. Now, I feel like we get a bit of a comeback now. Episode 13, Warlords. Incredible. The Toby character, the Warlord storyline, the intrigue with Lance. Phenomenal episode. Episode 14, again, phenomenal episode. I love the Toby death. I love the Negan stuff with Little Herschel. And I love the action throughout. And I really enjoy when you've got Mercer that comes in there and helps Daryl and Rosie to get, like, you know, this cash for Sebastian. And he's figuring out all this shit's going down. And he pops those two guys outside. I mean, that was so freaking amazing. So 14 was great too. And 15 was alright. The only thing I don't like from 15, on my end of things at least, is because I do like, you know, Lance coming to Hilltop, kind of, you know, interrogating Maggie and stuff, want to be friends. You know, it's really good stuff. The only thing I don't like from 15 is the standoff, and this is why, is because you get Daryl that points a gun in front of Lance's face, and it's like, oh, yeah, this is badass, right? And 2 seconds later, Lance is just like, oh, yeah, Daryl, you just pointed a gun in my face, but, like, you can still come with us. Like, the fuck? Like, Daryl pointed a gun in your face. Like, you're gonna take him back after that? Like, it just, that makes no sense. And where was Gabriel and Aaron during the standoff, might I add, too? Like, they were there, and all of a sudden they weren't. Like, people were, like, disappearing all of a sudden. Like, it just made no sense. But, you know, you had some decent setup at the Commonwealth with Mercer. That was pretty alright. And the Ezekiel, like animal storyline and stuff, it just wasn't my thing either. Not really my my storyline. But you know, and then Lance and Leah teaming up, we'll get into that in episode 16, but I found that to be very unrealistic. So episode 15, I kind of don't like it more than I like it, but it has some redeeming factors. I'd go to, like, it's below average to me, at least in my opinion. Episode 16. Now, this was a really good episode. This is a really, really good episode. You had the bus yard shootout, which I thought was amazing. Hornsby was very freaky. And, you know, him taking over all the communities and stuff, and that montage was incredible. Here's where my problems come in at the same time, though. Leah and her teaming up with Lance, and this is why it doesn't make any sense to me. She killed a convoy of his soldiers and took his guns, and now he's going to trust her to work for him to take out Maggie. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you want Maggie dead, you've got an army of soldiers. Go there and take her out yourself. Like, you know, it makes no sense. And I think hiring Leah was such convenience for the story. I mean, it was such convenience. And you know it's convenience because they literally kill Leah in this fucking episode. Like, they're like, oh, well, it's a finale. We need a villain death. You know what I mean? So they throw that in there. And I used to love the Hornsby Oceanside coin twist. I hate it now because it went nowhere. Like, it absolutely went nowhere. It makes no sense. So, I don't know. In recap, Part 2 lacks a lot for me. It does. It lacks a lot of things. But I will say Hornsby was good. I loved episodes 9, 13, 14, and parts of 16. So you've got a decent half season. That's what I'd say about Part 2. You've got decent stuff, but you've got good stuff somewhere, and then you do have a decent amount that's bad as well. It's a very mixed half for me. Now, okay. Part C, this was incredible. This was incredible. So, we had episode 17, Lockdown, which was incredible. You had the Commonwealth Lockdown. You had the Mercer and Rosita stuff fighting off the Horde. You have Daryl and the rest that are on the run from Hornsby, which I thought was really, really amazing. Then you also have episode 18, which I thought was amazing. You have the Founders Day stuff. You've got Sebastian and his death and his demise, which I thought was so amazing. You've got Daryl and Judith and their dynamic, which I really enjoyed as well. And I love Daryl's character. That episode was really, really well done. Episode 19, Variants, you have the Eugene storyline where he's kind of figuring out what he's going to do. You also have the introduction to the Variants, which I thought was so creepy the first time over, and I still do. I think the way they introduced that was very, very creepy and very, very good. And you also have a lot of really good stuff for Princess in this episode, too. So, another really awesome episode. Episode 20, I thought, was, again, another awesome episode. I love the Lance and Carol stuff. Lance dying, again, it's not my number one choice, but I really enjoy the way they did, his final episode. I enjoy what they did with his character overall. And I think, the Yumiko stuff with her defending Eugene and kind of trying to figure out what to do and how to kind of deal with this whole thing was really, really good. And the episode had some really good action as well, too. Episode 21 was phenomenal. The train fight, the escaping, the this, the that. You've got, Negan and Ezekiel and the rest that are trying to figure a way out of this whole thing. And you've got Maggie and Daryl and the others that are, kind of getting all the information they can. It was a really exciting episode, a very, very well done episode. And you also reveal that Alexandria is where the prisoners are being taken. So I thought this episode was incredible. And that one was really exciting. Episode 22, this was an amazing episode as well. This was the Negan episode where he's kind of trying to figure a way out of, escaping and stuff. And he does that by literally getting down on his knees and sacrificing himself so that the rest can live. I mean, what a way to add to the redemption. What a way to add to his character. So amazing. So incredible the way they did that. And then episode 23, the penultimate. Oh my god. Such an amazing episode. You get so many callbacks. You get the Battle of Commonwealth. You get the scene where they're running out in this crowd. You've got the variants that are coming in. You've got Mercer who's fucking shit up, and you get some really, really exciting stuff kind of throughout. The battle was amazing. The music was incredible. And if you ask me, that was one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead. And then, in my opinion, the series finale of The Walking Dead, in my opinion, the best Walking Dead episode ever. I've never seen an episode of The Walking Dead this good. The series finale, man. Oh my god. The Commonwealth fight with Pamela. You've got the incredible variant stuff. You've got Judith. You've got the death of Rosita, which I thought was so well handled. In addition to the Jules and Luke deaths earlier on, the gore was on top of it. The music was incredible. The fighting and the variants and the visuals with the explosions. You've got an incredible happy ending for everybody. You've got the time skip, you've got the takeover of the Commonwealth and of the communities, and you've got Daryl, and you've got everything. Just everything was so perfect. And to top it all off, we end The Walking Dead with the man himself. Rick Grimes is what ends The Walking Dead main show, with him standing in front of a city looking for his family. You can't ask for something more perfect than that. It's literally perfect. So, if you can't tell, 11C is a flawless half season for me. I love it to pieces. I think 11C was incredible. So, how do I feel about the final season? Overall, looking back, how do I feel about season 11 of The Walking Dead? Now, as you guys know, Part 1, 11A, I think minus Pope, you've got a perfect half season. Part 2... it's pretty darn good. I have my flaws, in particular with episodes 11, 12, and 15. I would say those episodes right there are the ones that I have problems with, but, Part 2 was still good enough. It was a good half season. It did lead into things very well. I had issues with it throughout, but it was good. And then 11C, I would straight up call flawless at this point. I really would. So, when you gather all that together, still really just loving 11A and loving 11C and thinking that Part 2 was, pretty darn good, minus just a few problems. I'm about to give a rating for this season that I'm sure a lot of people are about to disagree with, but my rating for the final season for The Walking Dead is going to be a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoy this season. I love what they did. And ultimately, here's the thing. I was very scared after part 2, admittedly. I was very scared that The Walking Dead would have a bad ending, and it was, you guys remember, right? You guys saw the videos. I can very much safely say I am so, excuse my language, I am so goddamn happy with this final season. I am so happy with what they've done. I love 11C in particular. I think 11C is so incredible, and that's why it's a 9. I would love to give it a 10, but I do have to also acknowledge the flaws that Part 2 had, and Pope as well too, but I think a 9 out of 10 is very deserved. I think they really went all out, and the way it came together in the final episode, because that's the most important. Does it come together well in the final episode? And that's really why this 9 out of 10 is here. So anyway, now it's time for you guys to share your opinions. What did you think of the final season? How do you feel about it? How did you feel about the final episodes of the series? Now it's time for you guys to discuss and let me know in the comment section below. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos of The Walking Dead. Make sure to follow me on James The Walking Dead Reviews to get more Walking Dead videos like this. And I'll see you guys really soon for more Walking Dead videos. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
I've heard stories. Walkers that can climb walls and open doors. I was never sure if they were just stories.